I have a pretty big book haul. Most of it is from Book Outlet, but there is one book that my darling husband got me from Walmart that I'm still trying to get the stickies off of. So yeah, I figured we'd just jump right in. The first one that I have is Pivot Point by Cassie West. Now this Epic Reads had actually done a little bit on when it first came out, so I'm kind of excited to read it. It's something to do with the girl, and for every decision that she makes, she can see basically both alternatives. So if she, dates this guy, what's going to happen in the future? If she doesn't date this guy, what her future is going to look like. And I believe there's some kind of a little bit of a romance in there and some action, adventure, and all that fun stuff. So I'm pretty excited to read that. The next two books I have are books 2 and 3 in a series. And that series is Eve by Anna Carey. And I actually have already read these. I'm just kind of collecting the books that I've read and that I want to add to my collection. And so these are on Book Outlet for pretty cheap for paperback. So as soon as I see Eve, I will be grabbing that. And basically what Eve is about is it's a futuristic society where there was some kind of a disease, I believe, that kind of wiped out most of the population. And so there's these orphanages where all the girls are sent. And they believe that they will go to school at this orphanage, and that when they graduate, they'll move on to whatever their career is chosen for them, and then they will go to the new America city, and they will take their place in society. But what really is going on is all the girls who graduate are basically turned into breeding stock in a way. They're forced to have babies, and those babies go off to people who were born in the city or something to that effect. And this girl Eve finds out about that the night before graduation, and she's able to escape, and it's kind of her tale and what happens. They're really good, and I'm excited to add them to my collection. So the next book that I have is The Pledge by Kimberly Dearting? I'm not sure how to say your name, I'm sorry. Anyway, this one looks really interesting. This one is set in a world where whatever type of language you speak separates you into different classes, and this girl has the ability to understand a multitude of different languages, which I don't know if that really puts her in danger or puts her higher up in the totem pole or what, but she meets a boy who speaks a language that she's never heard before, and a whole bunch of stuff ensues. So it looks really good, it looks really intriguing, and a little bit different, so I'm excited to read this one. The Vault of Dreamers by Kara M. O'Brien. This book is basically about a high school where the kids are constantly under surveillance. It's televised, kind of like Hunger Games-esque in that sense, that everything they do is televised. And they all have to take this special pill that makes them sleep for 12 hours a night. Well, this girl, Rosie, she decides one night to skip her sleeping pill, and she finds out that there's a super bad secret about this school. They're doing something that they shouldn't be doing, or something creepy. And so she takes it upon herself to figure out what's going on. So I'm really excited to read this one. I love Kara M. O'Brien. She's a wonderful author. Loved her Birthmark trilogy, so I'm really excited to read this one. This is Frozen by Erin Bowman, and now this is the sequel to Taken, which has been on my shelf for a while, since Christmas. My dear husband bought it for me off of Amazon, and I haven't had the chance to read it yet. So now I have the sequel, so that gives me more of a chance and more motivation to read it. Now, Taken is about, I believe, the boys start disappearing from this town or this school or something like that, and this boy decides to figure out what's going on. And that's about all I know about it. And that may be totally wrong. So if I'm wrong, please feel free to correct me below if you've read it, because I have not read it yet. So anyway, I'm super excited to add this to my shelf, so I have more motivation to read the first book. I was so excited when I saw it on Book Outlet. I nearly jumped out of my seat because I have been trying to add this book to my collection since I listened to the audiobook probably like 6 or 7 months ago when I first discovered it. I was super excited. I have the sequel on my shelf, but I haven't been able to find this book in a hardcover. So when I saw it on Book Outlet, I jumped, and I don't think a book has ever been added to a cart that fast. And that is The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. This series is phenomenal. If you have not read this book, you need to. It's wonderful. It's so good. It's so good. I mean, you've got, there is a love triangle in a sense, but it's so well done that it doesn't feel tacky to me, like so many of the love triangles do nowadays. There's mystery, there's adventure, like I said, there's some romance. It's just phenomenal. Basically what this book is about is there's a princess. She is in an arranged marriage. She's about to be married off to another kingdom, and she decides at the last minute, screw this, I'm leaving, I ain't doing this crap. And she takes off. She takes her lady-in-waiting with her, and they run away to a town. Well, the prince who's supposed to marry her is a little peeved, to say the least. So he decides, you know what, I'm gonna go and find this girl and figure out why she thought that she was so cool that she could leave me at the altar. And at the same time, there's an assassin who's been hired by a neighboring kingdom of these two to kill the princess so that an alliance cannot be made. You really don't know who's the assassin, who's the prince. You just know them by their first names, but you get alternating perspectives. You get some chapters that are from the prince, some chapters that are from one of the characters as the princess knows them, and so you don't really know who is who until about the middle to the second thirds of the book, and then you find out who is who, and it is so good, so good. So anyways, I'm super excited to add this to my shelf. I've read it twice already. I love it. It's fantastic. If you haven't read it, please read it, read it, read it. It's great. This next book is kind of a similar situation to the last one. I have read this whole series actually, and I have just been looking for the hardcover edition. I have the second two books in the series, the second and third book. I got those from Book Outlet a couple months ago, and now I have just finally happened to find the first Partials by Dan Wells. This is a sci-fi trilogy. It's really, really good. It kind of reminds me of the Terminator in a way, where basically there's this war going on, and so we think we're so cool that we can make robots that look and act and feel like humans, and then when they win the war for us, we want to basically enslave them because we don't think that they're as good as us anymore. So they revolt, there's a civil war, and the point that we pick up the story is, I believe, maybe like 100 years or 50 years or something after that war, and there's hardly any humans left. They believe they're the last ones, and that these Partials have basically taken over the rest of the world, and all the humans that are left are on Manhattan Island. So it's really, really good. It's a sci-fi. It's full of action, full of mystery. There's a little bit of romance, but not a ton, which I actually really enjoyed. It was kind of refreshing at the moment when I read this, that there was just a hint of romance, but it wasn't a main plot point, and I really, really enjoyed that. So yeah, I love this book. If you want to know more about this one or about The Kiss of Deception, just let me know and I would be happy to do a review on those. But my initial thoughts on both of them are that they are both fantastic for completely different reasons. The books that I have are, I believe this is a duology, but I could be wrong. It could be part of a trilogy. I haven't read them yet. And that is Pulse and Tremor by Patrick Carman. I don't know a whole lot about this series. I just know that it has something to do with a girl with telekinesis. She's got the ability to move things around with her mind, and there's other kids or people that can do this, and so she kind of gets roped into them and is learning about her ability to do that, and that's basically all I know about it. But it sounds really, really cool, a little bit different, kind of Darkest Minds type of feel. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I mean, the main reason that I picked up this book and I started getting interested in it is look at this cover. These covers are just beautiful and awesome and like the coolest things ever. So I'm really, really happy and excited to add them to my shelf. So yeah. So the next two is another series. I'm not sure if it's a duology or a trilogy, but I've been meaning to add them to my shelf for a little while. They're on Book Outlet for pretty cheap, so I decided to add them. And that is Breathe and Resist by Sarah Crossan. And basically these, I believe, have something to do with a civilization that lives in a dome. They don't believe that the air is breathable on Earth anymore. and when they find out that there is something outside of the dome. That's all I know about it. I don't know a whole lot more. If you read these and you liked them, let me know, because I'd love to hear your thoughts on them. But these are another ones that are just, I know they say don't judge a book by its cover, but I mean, when they look like this, how can you not? It looks so cool. I want to read this book because it looks awesome. Both of these look really, really cool. So yeah, I'm super excited to add them to my shelf. They're beautiful. I mean, look how pretty they are. So I'm really excited to add them to my collection. The book that I have for you is not a book outlet purchase. This, my darling husband was walking through Walmart and thought, hey, this is really like a book, so I'm gonna pick her out this random book, and it just happened to be the same book that I had been considering buying, but it was a little bit pricey, so I was gonna wait, and he actually got it before I did, so that was super sweet. Yeah. Anyway, that book is Dragonbane by Sherilyn Kenyon. Now this one, I believe, is an adult or maybe new adult book. I don't really know a whole lot about this author or about this series, if it's a series or what exactly, but basically it has to do with dragons. It's set in present day New Orleans, and this dragon has been hiding or something. There's a curse or some mystery of that sort, so it sounds really, really neat. And I'm pretty excited to read it here. And it's velvety. I love velvety covers. But as you can see, thank you, Walmart. I still have stickies on there that I have to try to get off somehow. So, okay, and I lied. I do have one more book for you, but it is not a physical book. It is actually an Audible book, and that is Swab by Heather Choate. Now, this book I have not heard anything about on BookTube, and that really, really surprised me. Audible, and I downloaded it and listened to it while I was working, and it is so good, you guys. I don't know why there isn't more hype about this book. It's fantastic. Really, what Swab is about is there's been some kind of disease. It's made them into scarb, and they are kind of like bug people in a way. Like, they hate humans and they just kill them. And so this is one of the last clumps of humans in this area, and basically this girl, you know, her boyfriend gets taken by them, and so she wants revenge, and so she goes to try to get him back. They go to attack this hive of them or whatever, and they end up turning her into one of them. So it really does a 360 on you guys, because, you know, 1 minute she's a human and she's on the human side and everything is crystal clear, who's the good guys, who's the bad guys, and then it's a 360. Definitely go check it out. It's awesome. It was really, really good. I highly suggest it. And I'm going to be doing a full review on it later on this week. So definitely go and check it out. One last thing, I just want to let you guys know that I am now officially on Twitter, and my handle is at GarnessBookNook. And I'll be putting that down in the description box. I'm going to try to put some of the Goodreads links to some of these books, or the series, or the first book in the series of some of them, so that you guys can go and check them out, add them to your Goodreads list, and all that fun stuff. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.